We're in North Dakota and it's freezing.
Cold.
I'm cold.
It's cold.
Texas cold.
Oh.
Georgia cold.
South Carolina cold.
But by way of Minnesota.
Yeah,
so
it hasn't helped apparently.
Yeah, I guess not. And Wisconsin, probably not cold.
It's chilly.
It's chilly. Okay.
You
All
got
right.
Crocs on, so you're fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
Garrett's a beast. He's been
Garrett's just like, what?
he's been wearing
Which
shorts most
Yeah.
of the time up here.
Shorts and
Speedo.
his newfangled Crocs, whatever those things are.
Although it does get a lot colder up here than it does even in the Twin Cities.
I
don't
can't
know.
imagine what winter's like up here. This is a lonely place.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. So obviously we're here in North Dakota. We are hunting the opener for North Dakota's hunting season. And before we jump into it, let's just start with Jared and introduce yourself so everybody knows who we all are.
Jared Schaefer, the Ginger Ninja.
Shane Simpson, just me.
Carl Kasuth.
Greg Godfrey,
Troy Fowler.
Ranch
Paul.
Fairy, better known as Ranch
The
Fairy.
Ranch Fair, yeah.
Garrett Prowl.
Yeah,
DIY Sportsman.
Garrett's
Dylan
been on
Hazen.
the podcast a whole bunch of times, so everybody should know him.
Dylan Hazen.
Dylan Hazen of THP, now freelance videographer.
Absolutely. And doing great.
Doing awesome. Super talented.
He made me look really good.
Yeah,
And that's really hard to do.
It is hard to do.
So good on you.
Shading thing going on, slim the middle,
Yeah.
you know, all that
He
stuff.
gave me a nice tan.
Yeah, right, exactly. Got the Trump hair.
So let's talk about first your hunt in Nebraska. Walk us through that one. The video's going live.
tonight.
Well,
yeah.
tonight. So when this airs, it'll already be
Yeah,
live.
it'll
But
be there.
yeah,
Yeah, not a whole lot to it. Otherwise, I mean, I spent weeks cyber scouting, and I spent a whole day scouting, putting boots on the ground when I got there, and then I was in the stand for a half hour. So either I got lucky or my cyber scouting really paid off.
I think you're just that good.
Yeah.
I'll take lucky
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah, it's better to be
Yeah, I'm
lucky
not-
than good,
I
right?
don't want to be lucky. I mean, be good at anything. I want to be lucky or have great friends that tell me where to go. It's easier that way.
Are you hoping for that on this trip?
No. Pretty quiet, pretty tight-lipped around here on this public thing. We'll be all right.
I think Garrett's been feeding you a little bit. He's bailing out
he
today.
taught me how to use Onyx, so.
No, we're
That's
gonna
not
ride
open
around
that.
later. We're gonna show you the bins.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you a couple of pieces of private that we found down south, so you can at least get
Get
started.
arrested.
Well,
Well, the Texas guy got arrested. He's having a great time with this public deal.
it's legal here, so
It's legal to be arrested.
it's legal to hunt private land here as long as it's not posted. So you just gotta follow the rules.
Yeah, I'll figure that out.
You'll figure it out. We talked with the game warden for like 2 hours yesterday. Super nice guy.
Gave us
Back-
a lot of good pointers, it sounds like.
He did, and most game wardens I've dealt with have not been as forthcoming with information and as willing to help as he was.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe you guys have had a different experience.
That guy, he drives around. He covers like 3 counties. What is he? 3,000 square miles.
3,000 square miles.
And he listens to the podcast. And when he parks somewhere, he's watching YouTube videos. He seems to be very familiar with you, Garrett, for sure. And he said you're part of the cause of all his headaches.
He's mad at Garrett.
Oh yeah. Tell him about the private message I got yesterday from someone said, "Hey Shane, tell Garrett to check his messages." And it's a local, and they don't be sharing any road names and business names, and just we like our little spot here in North Dakota.
Yeah,
Road influence.
it's kind of one of those things where it's like you want to show as much as you can in your videos to try and help people who might want to do the same type of thing, but at the same time you don't want to give away too much, not just from the standpoint of if you want to come back next year, but also out of kind of respect for everybody that's also in the area that's been hunting here for their whole lives.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that, to show mapping, because you want to. It's hard to do it in words when you can show imagery, but at the same time, like you said, you don't want to give locations away and ruin it for the locals or for yourself coming back.
Right.
But yeah, that game ward, he was big fans of what we're about and what we're doing, and I think that's one of the reasons he was so open with a
And
lot
he's
of
the
stuff.
same kind of guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved hearing the stories. He's like, I get off work, I grab my pup, and we roll over to, a different part of the state, and I'm spending my off time doing what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So it's like a true sportsman. I really like that.
Well, what's nice too is everybody had some little, question or some little interpretation. Is this actually what this law means? This is really foreign, from wherever we're from, and he'd be able to just give you a real clear, cut and dry answer.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole walking in on private, non-posted, just the first couple days when we were scouting, I was like, you step foot out of the truck and you're like,
Yeah, right.
You're looking around.
Looking
Yeah,
for
we used to
somebody
do this in
try.
the old days, maybe. Now we're on television and stuff, so we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, that's for sure. Definitely takes some getting used to. Carl, you're not going down to North Dakota.
I did.
You broke the dry spell.
I did. I got the monkey off my back.
Look at here. So if you're listening to the audio version in your car,
About a
on
180.
your phone, or whatever,
Listen to the audio version.
6-inch bases.
Yeah, easy.
No, it's
we only shoot those. We pass all the other stuff.
yeah. So
you can see it on the YouTube. If we're this will be a video podcast on YouTube if you're just listening to audio version. Shane, pick yours up. Don't be shy.
yeah, there's his Nebraska.
You weren't
buck.
sye earlier when you were saying it was the biggest buck ever going to be killed. You know,
Yeah,
you were
right.
bragging all about
Yeah,
that
man.
thing.
No, I actually, that is, I've hunted with trad bows primarily most of my hunting career. And last year I decided to give the compound a go, and I ended up eating tag soup. And I just went back to my trad gear. It feels right to me. I love it, so went back to that. But that is actually my biggest buck I've ever killed, period.
Did you
Sweet.
Did you spend as much time cyber scouting for that buck as I did for mine?
No, you mean as much time as you spent cyber scouting that buck for me, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No,
How did that story go, Shane?
Well, here's how it works for me. I'm not known as a big buck killer in the group. You know, I sew stuff.
I'm
you know?
not either. So.
But so I gotta use what skills I have to meet my goals, right? So Shane's breaking stuff in camp, right? He's got broadheads coming off and different things and leather work, and so I'm like, hey bro, I can fix that for you, you know? So
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like,
Trade.
would you do some swapping?
Well, I remember you saying that about this is foreign to me, out of state, going. You know, this is your first out.
This is my first out of state hunt.
That was my number one spot to go
successful
to,
one.
and then I was going to work my way in, and yeah, I had a piece for my quiver for my recurve. I shot my recurve this week a little bit, and he fixed it up for me, put the new part on there, and was helping me with my broadheads, and I was like, man, I feel bad. He's helping me out. I said, how about you go to my number one
He
spot?
Hey, you need me to change a flat or something?
Yeah. No,
Alternator?
He was like, and it worked out because, you know, Shane was like, we can go tag team this spot.
I
you know?
almost got a doe. She was at 9 yards, but she busted me. So
But I made, and you guys will see it on the video whenever it drops, but I made an absolutely terrible shot on this deer. But I'll leave it at that, and you'll see the rest of it on the video. So, but there he is, and the rest of him's in the cooler that Dylan is sitting on. So.
well, I mean, it's not like we haven't all done it.
Right. It's if you hunt long enough, especially with archery equipment, especially with traditional archery equipment,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. It's just keeping your head up and going in, just doing what's right. And we did everything right.
yeah,
on
and that worries me, you know, because I'm trying to use a recurve now, and I practiced all summer with it, and I'm shooting pretty good, but man, I just keep worrying that when that deer steps out, that I'm gonna just screw up so bad.
I still don't know what happened with the shot, because everything just went off, just so fluid and perfect, and the arrow's halfway to him, and I was like, oh dear Lord, what is about to happen?
Yeah,
you know?
your air flight looked good.
Yeah, it was good.
And then-
I didn't hit anything. I mean, I must have had some sort of psychological come apart right at the end with my sighting or something. I don't know what it was, but because you know how it is, we're all our own backyard hero when you're shooting. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you have been super accurate.
Yeah, and I've been practicing
How
at
many-
those distances too.
How many videos do you take before you post the good one?
Actually, the ones I send you guys, that's pretty much one off, you know. But like I said, you can't be beat in your own backyard, you know. And you get out in the woods, and the moving animal, you know, that's doing its thing, is out in front of you. Everything changes quickly.
I am good on the driving range in golf. I mean, I'm real good.
Yeah.
And then you get on the course and something happens.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
no,
you know, they used to say in the military, commanders, whenever we'd be presenting plans or strategies, tactics to the commanders, they would always say, yeah, this is a great plan, but remember, the enemy gets a vote, and they get a play. So your plan all goes to crap once you receive first contact, and it's the same deal with the critter. You know, the critter wants to live.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, they come walking in, and they've got Murphy on their side every
it's true.
time, you know.
It's true. So Troy, you're kind of, well, you are a public land newbie, right? This is your
Absolutely.
first public land hunt. Killed a whole bunch of critters, but just none on public land.
Right.
what are some of the things that you're nervous about? Because there's going to be people watching and listening that are in the same boat. They've never hunted this way. They're used to hunting the back 40. They want to go do this cool stuff, but they're nervous. So what were some of the things that you thought through that helped you, kind of make the leap to jump your deer?
My previous public experiences have been elk and deer, mule deer. And it's all been glassing, and you spend days finding somewhere where the deer are, and then you say, okay, how are we going to get in? And then you look at your map and kind of orient that way. Y'all seem to be doing it backwards. You have to find the public, you have to find the private public, all this posted stuff, so that stuff's going to be a little freaky, just saying. Like you said, even y'all said, well, we know this is legal, but is it really legal?
Right, yeah.
And then, so I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to impede on anybody's private property.
Sure.
That would be terrible. It's not my goal. And if that happens, it's going to be hard to convince people that I wasn't poaching, but whatever. And then secondarily, it'd be just, it sounds like y'all are just finding the right stuff for the deer.
Yep.
And then going up a tree and saying, this has got to be right. I saw you looking, you all have pinch points that you're hunting and things that are pretty logical.
Yep.
And then the game warden said, the beans are the magic, which if we wouldn't have known that, I'm glad I got to hear that, because that's one step forward, right? So it'll be really interesting for us to just climb a tree. And I've been on the same ranch for 20 years. I know pretty much every foot of the thing. Pretty good idea where to start. Not today. So we'll figure it out. And if that's the two things. It's just knowing the right pieces of property to go into. And I would hate to walk in on some folks. I know that happens. So go bumbling in there.
It's not as bad here as it is in a lot of other states.
Yeah.
The hunting pressure overall is low. When you look at like how many people even in this campground, and then you spread that out across however far they can drive, then you compare that to a state like a Michigan or a Minnesota, or it's not even in the same realm.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a single vehicle parked on the side of the road. I know you guys saw some riding around, but I've yet to see anyone parked where I wanted to go. I've yet to see anybody parked on the side of the road when I'm heading out to hunt.
Yeah.
When I was driving up here, I had visions of first 2 weeks of elk in Colorado, and it's just
Hammered.
there's just
complete opposite.
every 50 yards. You're thinking everybody's this enthusiastic? That can't be realistic. There's 8 million people within a mile of the road. But we'll go out there and run around, chase them.
Yeah, we're hunting public land, but like you said, Garrett, we really haven't bumped into anyone. Of course, we've only been hunting a few days, but it was here the opener, and it was a holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend. This campground was slam full of people. Every single spot was full.
Yeah, there were more hunters here than there were last year. Significantly more.
Thanks to you.
Yeah,
It's
and
Garrett's
yours.
fault.
Wait,
Good job, Garrett. They didn't watch my video. They watched yours.
I watched them both.
The guys that watched mine from a different state didn't come up here.
Okay.
All the Minnesotans and stuff.
You got that from your YouTube analytics?
Yeah.
As you told you they were coming
Demographics,
up here?
Southeast United States.
Yeah, okay. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Dylan, what's your impression of North Dakota? You've kind of hunted all over the place with THP and...
Yeah, I was up here last year, but I was in a different part of the state. So last year we did more of kind of the western style of drive around, glass, find the deer, and then go out. We did a lot of map scouting before we got up there too, but like this year it's map scout going, and like we're looking for sign, like where the one came out last night, it came right out of the cattails on a rub.
Yep.
It's that kind of, and there's scrapes all along the edge of the fields. I know where you shot your buck, where Shane showed us, like if you go in there and you look, you can see a browse line on, like they're not traveling down specific trails, but there were like browse lines where it just looked like a lane going through the woods. So it's different. I didn't grow up hunting more of the open stuff, so it's maybe a little bit more in my realm here. But no, it's really fun. I like it up here a lot, and it's not hot early season,
Not hot.
That helps.
Yeah.
No.
I wish
Quite
it
the
was.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me was not hitting a spider web every 6 feet.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I have to look forward to whenever I get back to
Take
Tethrd.
your arrow and do this as you walk through the woods.
Yeah, and there's no snakes trying to bite me. There's no alligators trying to bite my leg off. It's pretty awesome.
That's one thing I've enjoyed about living in Minnesota. There's no black widows under every log. There's no copperheads and water moccasins. You might see a garter snake, but that's about it. Other than wolves up north that might kill you,
Other than that,
Yeah, just don't go up northern Minnesota, then you don't have to worry about anything attacking you or hurting you.
I put out a couple of trained scorpions for the guys when they came to the ranch just to freak them out a little bit. Put one in that seat. One was in the seat when Ted tried to sit down on.
And there's the elk up here too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. We got a slammer on public land. Big bull. And the guy told us, he said that the hardest tag in the state to fill is a cow elk tag.
Yep.
He said you will have to pass 5 or 6 bulls before you see a cow elk you can shoot.
No kidding.
And I was like, wow.
Well, he also said, and I didn't know this, that a mature cow will live up to 20 years up here, whereas a bull is 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So you put on 19, 20 years of staying alive experience.
That's a smart critter.
That's gonna be a hard critter to kill. So.
Yeah, it really is. What else are you haven't piped up too much, Jared? What about you? What's your hunt been like so far?
Yeah, so well, it's been good. I did get a shot last night on, it would have been absolutely my biggest buck ever. And we were just doing, like these other guys said, me and Greg have been driving around a ton, just looking at different properties, looking for ag that backs up to swamp or a river or whatever. And we found a really good spot, and we went in there last night. Me and Dylan set up on the edge of this bean field coming out of a cattail swamp, and the buck we were after, we got a cell camera picture of him the day before, and he came out of there, but he was probably 60 yards farther back than what we thought. But he ended up getting into range, and I got a shot at him, and I'm not sure what happened. Something went weird with my arrow, like mid-flight. You can see it on the video. It's tracking perfect, and then it just takes a nosedive, like right before it gets to the deer. So I'm not real sure what happened there, but just barely clipped the back of his leg. Deer's totally fine. So I think we'll get another crack at him. But yeah, I mean we've only hunted 3 evenings, pretty much, and I mean I've seen a shooter buck. You saw 2 shooters.
I saw 2
last
shooters,
night.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we're starting to get it dialed in now after a few days. So
I haven't seen a shooter buck.
Sorry.
Well, you let Carl came in there and killed it.
Yeah.
I did pass up 2 small bucks last night, which is unlike me. I'm usually shoot first, ask questions later.
You even passed up on a doe
Yeah,
because she was too young.
She had ears or
Her
ears were too big.
Ears were that long.
Yeah.
the tail wasn't 6 inches. So.
It would have been awesome footage because my camera's right over my shoulder, and you see me in the video go, and I was like, nah. she just looked young. I just didn't want an 80-pound doe in here, and
Yeah.
I wanted to get a substantial amount of meat from that shot on one tag.
Man, I'm gonna have a hard time driving 26 hours and shooting a doe.
I'm going to toward the end. I will.
I like deer hunting. So if you look at all the bucks I've killed in the past, it's obvious I'm not out there for antlers.
Well, I mean, I don't think that.
No, there's nothing wrong with shooting big bucks either. But
Yeah,
it's just, to me, you hear me start hyperventilating and stuff when a doe walks in.
Yeah.
That does it for me.
Well, I mean, I told you when that 700-pound doe came in on the first day, me and Jared are sitting there, and the other weird thing for a lot of us Midwest or Eastern guys, you can't get very high in these trees. Yeah. Most of these trees are like super wonky. I mean, they just go every which way, and I was only sitting
10 feet up.
10 feet?
At the most.
I mean, 10 feet max. Yeah, I think I was probably like 8 or 9 foot high. And this 700-pound doe comes walking in, the biggest doe I've ever seen in my life.
She was a tank.
And then she comes through and she hits our scent trail where we walked through this little cut, and she freezes up, and her front side shoulder is forward, just exposing all that goodness in there. And she was right there. I could spit on her. I wanted to shoot so bad. But I thought, man, this is the first night. We haven't even really scouted too much. We don't really know what we're going to get.
Imagine how big the bucks
I know.
are.
Yeah.
That's what Jared said.
That buck we saw last night, the one with all the trash.
Oh, yeah, he's a good buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good buck.
Now, you didn't take a shot at him, correct?
No, I couldn't get a shot.
So, and he didn't spook or anything? So
No, he smelled us.
Are you going back in there
Well,
after him? Or?
I'm thinking maybe the does that were a little bit farther ahead of him.
So the does
they took
definitely
off,
smelled
and then
us.
he followed. the does picked him up.
That
like.
second one definitely winded us.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, I'm sitting there waiting. I got my bow ready. He's at like, so I hunt from a saddle, so I'm behind the tree. The deer is at like 2 o'clock behind a whole bunch of nasty, like you couldn't even get him on camera.
No, I couldn't even.
It's behind a whole bunch of nasty stuff. So I've got my bow and I'm waiting, and you know, as soon as he goes left, I'm just gonna kind of peek out and shoot him. He was only 20 yards, 18 yards.
Close.
He was close. So I'm sitting there, and then I feel the wind hit my bow hand, and I hit right here, and I'm going, oh no, gone. Man, that was frustrating.
Yeah,
But,
he's a nice looking deer from what I can tell.
yeah, I'm not sure if that was the same one.
Well, I'm talking about the one with all the trash.
So that was
That was the
buck.
first one that came in.
Okay.
We
That was
think
the
the
first.
You had
does.
two
Yeah, we had two.
encounters.
Yeah.
But the second buck
like you had a good
might
spot.
have been a different buck.
Yeah.
No, I think it was a different buck. I'm not positive.
Like I said, the bigger one, the one that I know for a fact was a giant. I think those does got us, just barely popped our wind, and when they took off, they picked him up.
Yeah.
He knew they were running for a reason, so he just
Yep.
took off with him. I don't think he was far enough into our scent channel to where he picked us up.
Yep, I think you might be right. Man, we were 10 yards too far. This bow hunting public land stuff, I mean, it's a game of inches. We were literally 10 yards too far north. If we had been 10 yards further south, if we had stopped walking
For the winds.
10 seconds earlier and climbed a tree, we'd have killed that buck.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, our thermals would have been, that 10 yards would have made those, when those thermals started dropping, it would have made them go right over the top of them out into that one open field, and they would have not known we were there.
yeah.
Well, and even apart from that aspect, it's just this time of year in these trees, it's so thick in a lot of places.
Yeah.
You got just these, the wind's doing everything, and then you got just these walls of vegetation, especially on any kind of edge. A lot of times there's like a thick wall, and then you can either hunt like one side or the other, and you got to pick and choose. You can't just hunt on the middle and shoot both directions. I mean, it's good for not getting picked off in a tree. You can get away with a lot of stuff, a lot of movement,
Yep.
but trying to get a shot sometimes is really difficult.
Yeah, you
You
nailed
got to
it.
be really good at your manual focus for the camera guys.
That's what we ran into last night. Isn't that we had this big wall of branches hanging down, and I had one window to shoot through, and I get to full draw, and I'm on the buck, and I'm asking Dylan, "Are you on him with the camera?" And he's like, "Not really." Dylan ended up just holding the camera like way down low, looking at had the LCD screen flipped up, and he picked a little, I don't know what, softball size hole through those leaves to film
Yeah,
through.
it was when he said, "Are you on him?" I was just like, "Oh boy."
Not really.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm standing there hugging the. Well, we had
Oops, didn't get it on
we
See
had
a
a
bloody
mature
arrow here.
doe
Fire
come
away.
right underneath of us and started doing the whole
Foot
stomp
Yep.
thing, and I'm like, "Ah, God, here we go."
Yeah, it's
because
over.
he's at what 50, 60 yards when she's
He
doing
was
that.
at about 50 or so, and he's kind of working his way closer. And then we've got
Right.
these does that are literally 6-7 yards, and the lead doe is looking at us, but you can tell she can't really see what we are.
Right.
But the wind's it's just barely missing her, and she's starting to stomp, and then she turns. When she turned to walk away is when I grabbed the rangefinder, got a range on the buck, dialed my sight, and then come to full draw. And it had to happen quick because the does were getting squirrely. But Dylan was able to get it on film. It just didn't work out.
Great footage.
Yeah, that was wizard level camera work, buddy.
And what are you telling me?
That was
Man,
impressive.
I haven't seen any bad footage from him yet.
No, he's
Dylan's the man.
And what are you telling me too? Whenever you had to put the camera down, there was like 5 deer out there, and
Yeah.
you saw a spot, and you just zoomed in on it, and it happened to be him.
He came out with 3 does, a small buck, and then it was him. So like when she finally turned away, I was hugging the tree when she was looking at us and trying to keep the camera in between my face and her face. And then when she turned away and he said that, I was just like, because this branch is between, I can't see the buck at all. So I just flipped the screen out, put it on my waist basically, and I was just like doing this thing, trying to.
It's a little bit of luck involved too.
Yeah, I mean, I just started kind of slowly moving it through the holes in the foliage, and finally just saw a big brown dot, and I was like, "Well, that's got to be him." And cracked the zoom. It was. So
Yeah, that's one thing I figured out last night, especially. We had a great hunt, though. We had deer just everywhere, all over us.
Really fun.
But just being that little bit higher above Greg, and you've got that understory,
yeah,
he's seeing all these deer coming out of the woodlot
Yeah.
that I can't see until they're like right on us. But
Well,
then I can see
yeah.
out in the field, and he
Yep.
can't really see it. it was kind of a trade-off, but
That's like with your buck. It was the same thing for me. Like you were seeing all these deer, and I'm just like, oh, there it is. You know, because you're just looking into everything being just that much higher up.
Yeah, he said he didn't believe you when you said big buck.
he didn't. He was, I guess they pranked each other over THP a couple times.
Ted and I have pulled the, oh, big, here he is, get down. And then that's not it.
But no, I was hanging there, and I looked over there, and we were talking about headlamps, white, green, red, you know, that whole topic of conversation. And
So y'all were having a little discussion.
Talking on the stand.
we were chatting it up, man.
All night.
Yeah, early, these don't care.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, yeah, and I grabbed him on the leg, and I'm like, big buck, and like I'm pulling on his leg, I'm grabbing my bow, and I'm rotating in my bridge all at the same time, and he's like, yeah, whatever.
Let go of my leg.
And when I first saw him, he was like 15 yards to my weak side, but no shot at all. He was behind some thick stuff. And then by the time I got my bow and spun around, I saw the gap he was heading toward, and that's about whenever you got on him.
Yeah, I mean, you said that, and I turned around, and I didn't see a deer, and I was just like, all right, here, bud. Let's hunt together, and you're pulling this crap. And then he stepped out, and I was like, oh, he's not kidding.
Yeah. I don't play that game. That's kind of heartless, man.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, I love doing it.
Yeah.
I got Jared last night walking in the tree. Big buck, big buck, big buck. You son of a.
I hate you, Greg.
I tell you, hunting so low though, it's weird for a Georgia boy. I mean, those deer down south, they walk around like this. They just look for hunters, and here you can get away with hunting lower.
Why do you think that is there?
Down south? Because they get shot at a lot.
Yeah, out of trees.
A lot.
So you think these deer don't have the exposure to people that?
That's
Oh
what
no,
I think.
no,
No.
not at all.
No.
This place is so vast.
There's a lot of deer and very few hunters.
And I think it's a different kind. The average hunter up here maybe hunts a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah.
So nobody hunts on the ground in Georgia. Nobody. Everyone hunts elevated.
Oh, okay. So that's all they know.
Everyone. So if they encounter a hunter, he's up there, you know, somewhere.
Right.
And so I think they just get conditioned to looking for up there. But like to your point, Garrett, I think hunting on the ground is a perfectly acceptable strategy here.
And the locals here, I mean, they hunt a completely different way than what we are for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, we found out from the game warden, it's legal to shoot from the road, and in some cases down a road.
It's easier to pick them up when you shoot them in the road.
Well, we were wondering.
I'm all for that.
We're scouting, right? And we're driving down the road, and I saw a very big bodied deer a half a mile away. He was at a back corner of a cut wheat field, I think. And I stopped, and I no sooner than got the truck stopped, and he's like, "See ya."
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, dude, what's up? Let me at least glass you.
You just don't see big bucks driving.
No.
They'll be out in hidden fields, or you might see like a doe and a fawn out in the field.
Yeah,
but
we don't typically see a whole lot of deer from the road. Period.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
see
we know
deer
why now.
coming here
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
way.
now
I
we
was
know
like,
why.
where am I going? I mean,
Yeah.
going deer hunting?
Well, Bubba's shooting at him, taking pop shots from his freaking sled and his ATV and his UTV and his Chrysler. I mean, yeah,
I think
just slinging lead.
Well, it's the same as when I was pronghorn antelope hunting last year in Wyoming. You could drive 60 miles an hour and drive right by them 100 yards, and then if you touch, they could hear the brake pads.
Gone.
They were gone.
In the next county.
Yeah, right, and they take off.
But with that said, there's still been some tree stands and stuff that we found back there where it's like this stand setup, people like taking candy from a baby during the rut. You know,
Yeah.
like, there's some guys that got it figured out, I think, out here too.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Right, you get enough time on anything, you can figure it out.
Yeah, and I guess I don't want to sound like I'm saying there's the strategies up here are not as good as what we do down south by any stretch. It's just different.
Yeah.
You know, different strokes for
They
different
adapt
folks.
for the terrain or the
Right.
situation.
Yeah, I
There are
mean,
a lot
just look at the trees are totally different up here.
Right.
Anyway. You know, I'm assuming it's a lot of tall, just straight trees where you
Right.
you don't have a whole lot that's breaking you up when they
Right.
see something leaned off like this on the tree. It's weird.
Exactly.
You just take a climber 30 feet up. And
Yeah.
And the shoot houses up here are insane.
They're legit.
I mean, we're talking Hiltons.
Propane heaters.
Yeah, right. That's what I would
Double
do.
staircases
Got the
with
coffee
landings.
going in
Yeah,
there.
they're like a he shed out
Got
there.
to cook some bacon in there. Just get after it. Heaters in the stand are great. As I age.
Yeah, we saw one last night that had one of those big vertical propane tanks. I'm talking it was like 5 foot tall and
Yeah.
the size of a watermelon in diameter, and the hose went straight up through the bottom of the floor into the shoot house.
Yeah, right. I like that guy.
Yeah. I mean, he figured it out.
I can't imagine how cold it gets here in 2 months. Maybe 6 weeks, maybe less.
Well, they're saying that toward the end of the year they'll get stretches where it might be 20 below zero for a high, and it might stay like that for close to a week at a time.
Oh,
Plus the
thanks.
wind.
Yeah, the wind here is for real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yesterday it blew like 40 miles an hour all day long.
last year we didn't have, the weather was nice. It was pleasant. There wasn't a whole lot of wind. This year it's just a total opposite. It's really cool, very windy every day. I mean, today you said we had a little bit of sleep this morning?
Yeah, it was sleep when I got up this morning.
I woke up and it
my
was cold.
thermometer said the overnight low was 34.
Yeah.
Felt like it.
So compare and contrast this year with last year deer sightings thus far.
Oh,
Warmer
much
temperatures
higher, I think.
this year.
Yeah,
Did you hunt up
Yeah.
here?
yeah.
Well, the first 2 days, I mean, it was just we were trying to figure it out. It was like the first day for you guys. Just like, man, where are the deer? That was like what it was for us the first couple of days.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I
and then we
saw-
kind of, and this year going into it, we had a little bit different perspective on which spots we wanted to
And
check
you
out
have,
on the front
4 or
end.
5 spots banked away that you can kind of fall back on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys
either,
came up over the summer and scouted too, right?
Yeah, we came
Yep.
up and just checked some spots that we wanted to check last year that I didn't get to,
Mhm.
and kind of ruled some out and went and hunted a few. But I was telling someone earlier, I was like, either the population of deer is higher here, or something's different. Maybe the season's a week later, and maybe this cool weather's got to move. I don't know, but there's a lot. Just to me, it seems like more deer, and maybe it's just because they're more active and we're seeing more of them.
Yeah, I think some of it is we just got a little bit better at figuring out exactly how to tackle it. Because I mean, in some of the areas where we've gone last year and also gone this year, I feel like the amount of sign is similar. And it's just you get some areas that look really good on X, and you get there and it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't look that great. And you knock off 2 or 3 of those types of spots, and then you find one where it's like, oh, this is the gold mine. This place is loaded with deer.
And your wife shot one yesterday in one of those spots.
Yeah, there's a lot of deer back there.
Yeah.
Now that wasn't her first deer ever,
Yeah,
was
first
it?
deer ever.
First deer ever.
Yeah.
Way to go,
Nice.
And he
Samantha.
got it with a bow.
And she crushed. I mean, that was
from a saddle.
yeah.
It's awesome.
She killed it.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was just the perfect, for a first deer, you could not ask for a better opportunity. Perfect broadside, maybe a hair quartering away, 10-yard shot, 15 feet up in a tree.
Nice. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's what you want. That's fantastic.
What was the emotions like for her? I remember when I killed my first deer, I was like super jacked, and then when I realized I had killed something, I was super sad. Went through that whole range of emotions. Did she go through that, or not really? Or is she a stone cold killer? And I was like,
Have him show you the video. Her smile is like this. As soon as she turns the camera, she's like,
She was really excited. I asked her if she was nervous, like as the deer came in. She's like, I don't know. It came in and it just
happened.
It just
Yeah.
happened so fast. I don't think she had really
That's
enough
the best.
time to get super nervous.
That's the best thing.
yeah, that's good.
But yeah, she was excited after the shot, and she was really happy when we found it. And
Well, she's had a pretty good mentor also to prepare. So yeah, I wasn't surprised when I saw the shot she put on that thing. I mean, it was.
so she's shooting the same setup that in the video that you posted a few weeks ago.
yep.
And so, okay.
We got to talk about that Bubba testing we did on the tailgate of your truck with those broadheads. This kind of taps into your wheelhouse, but then also Garrett. I mean, I know you've done a lot of that stuff too, but I was super impressed with those heads. Do you want to explain what we did? And are you going to post that video, or what do you?
Yeah, probably. I'll
Okay.
get the footage from Jared. So we took, of course, we asked Sam first. We didn't want a John and Leroy situation.
Yeah.
But we took the broadheads that Sam used to kill her deer, and I was like, you know what? It was a Valkyrie head, just the normal, the original long, real needle like 3-blade. I was like, I wonder if we can just push this into the chest cavity. So we had the doe that was just in the back of the tailgate. Just took that broadhead on that arrow, right in, like no resistance. I was like, huh, what if I can do that with 2 fingers? So I took her micro diameter arrow, so not a lot of surface area to grab there. And I just took it, put it between the ribs, right through, push it right through the skin and into the chest cavity. So I tried it on a rib, and I couldn't push it through the rib. Then I was like, let's try this with some other broadheads that we got. So we tried it with the Day 6, right through. Valkyrie, or the Iron Will, right through. And then we tried a Rage, and I had to really like put my whole body weight on it. The arrow was flexing, I had to grab it a little bit lower. But it finally popped through.
Now that was an old Rage. I had a box of old, or just loose broadheads from years past.
Yep.
Some Rage, some Muzzies and stuff, and we started trying those. And those are supposed to be sharp right out of the box, right? For hunting.
We tried Carl's A Boyer heads, and that one was at a disadvantage because it had already been shot a few times.
That one had hit bone and all that been through that buck.
And I think that has like a Tonto tip on it, right?
It does.
It's not that needle-like tip. So the initial is probably maybe, I felt like, maybe twice as much resistance as like some of those other fresh out of the package sharp heads.
I think you said with my calibrated arm here.
It was noticeably harder, but not nearly in the same plane as like some of the other heads that we tested in terms of challenging. Then we tried like the Q80 Exodus, 3 blades steeper, kind of that chisel type tip, and then also I think the Muzzy. I couldn't get either the Q80 or the Muzzy between the ribs. I could not push it through the skin.
Those two surprised me.
That surprised me because I think I made the comment. Maybe I'm wrong. I think a Muzzy has probably killed more deer than any other head on the planet.
Everybody shot that thing.
Everybody shot Muzzies, and you couldn't even get it through.
Couldn't get it through. Well, we were talking too that just pushing something through slow is not necessarily the same as what happens when you have some velocity through it.
Sure,
right. The tissue acts differently, but it's still an apples to apples. You would assume that if you have that kind of a result, just pushing it through, that even at high speed, whatever else happens is probably still going to be some relationship there.
Sure.
It's going to be that much easier to get one of those sharp, good steel heads through.
And then there's a trade-off on the real fine needle point heads and the Tonto tip heads. The Tonto tip's intended to have a working point. Mm-hmm. So when things go wrong, it's like an axe. It splits things and then keeps going, right?
So it did. It kept going.
It did. That damn thing went. Well, I mean, it was.
Well, they'll see the video.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, I was really impressed. Eye-opening is the right word.
The more you do that stuff, the more you're going to see it. That's a great thing to do. And everybody watching, if you kill a deer this year, do that. Yeah. I mean, it's laying there. You can just take 4 or 5 old broadheads and just try it for your own good. Don't trust us. We're sales guys, right? So, but do it yourself and experiment a little bit just to kind of wrap your head around that idea. Because I've always say this: when things go right, it's fine. When things go wrong, you want this high efficiency stuff that's really going to go.
Yeah.
Because
so didn't you say that you have some, not you personally, but you had some viewers and subscribers kind of give some bad feedback about some of the Valkyrie stuff?
I've just seen a couple that were bent, but I don't know what they hit. So it's always, whenever you're taking in information, you got to kind of look at it and go, I don't know, right? Nobody sends you I get a lot of them, but people don't generally send you the perfect. They're more likely to send you the bad stuff. Yeah. And I've always been concerned about that particular hit because it is so long. But it's A2 tool steel.
No, it's S7.
Or S7. So they've done everything they can do.
Yeah. And they do make a shorter version for the guys that are worried about that.
Right.
And, I mean, Sam is 25-inch draw, 41 pounds. That arrow setup was 430 grains, and it was buried about 5 inches into the dirt.
Forward to center over 20% probably.
Over 20%, yeah. Right. With a lighted knock on the back.
Yeah.
So definitely weren't like trying to get extreme, but just as a result of that short, light GPI arrow and the weight up front, it just works out that way.
Yeah, I always explain that as it's a bullet with a tail.
Exactly.
Can you hear the arrow go through that doe? Because it sounded pretty quiet on the video. I mean, usually you hear a, but it just sounded like.
No, I thought the whole thing sounded pretty quiet. And I mean, it was windy. The leaves are rustling around. There's a lot of background noise, and I think that plays into deer's reaction too a lot. How much ambient noise there is, whether or not they're going to jump the string or not. But we looked at the slow motion. By the time that doe started to duck and wheel, the arrow was already through her.
Yeah. She didn't budge until that arrow was already in her.
And you could see the blood starting to come out as she was wheeling.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's what you want, right? Mm-hmm. That's ultimate performance. You just want to get through there and get the work done. Especially when you hit them right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you hit them right, that's what should happen.
I like that you said, encourage people to do it. I'm not a broadhead test guy. I've never really done it. I watch a lot of stuff and see smart people. I'm not smart, so I watch smart people do those tests. And but it was really cool to see from a novice. Those things were impressive. Got a tornado warning going on or something? Jeez.
We do this every day.
10 o'clock.
Really?
This is the only town in the state they do it. So if you know where this alarm goes off, you know where we're going.
I haven't heard that.
No, it's you're out riding around, gallivanting across the country.
Oh yeah, maybe so.
We're
Anyway,
here making breakfast. And
it was really
Carl.
eye-opening. It's the right word. It was impressive to watch those 3 heads perform way better than the rest. And I get it. You know, you add velocity and all that stuff. That's a different story. But man, just boop. I mean, it was that easy. Just right through.
Yeah, when you spend the time and, as you call it, go through the process, like my deer is, my equipment performed exactly as it should have. I didn't, but it made up for it. That 630 grains, 26% FOC. It made up for what I lacked on that shot.
The challenge with broadhead testing, the test y'all did is one of the better tests to do because you actually have a deer.
Yeah.
And our testing on dead pigs, where we tried to replicate what Dr. Ashby did, every broadhead overperformed. We shot one pig 17 times. He was a 175-pound bull. We gutted him so we could see what was happening. And every broadhead system, the mechanical shot 55% mechanicals. They all deployed on impact, and they hit the opposite thoracic wall. That's a dead end. And then when you add the movement piece is when we start to see the deterioration of penetration. But when you shoot a fixed object, car hoods, boards, anything, I make fun of that stuff on my channel and I will continue to do so because it's stupid. But any broadhead system is going to overperform on a totally stationary object. You see people take the scapula of an elk and strap it on the point, on the top and the bottom. It's under tension. It's actually helping.
Yeah.
And there's no meat, no hair, and they're not this right here. And that's it. I mean, then it changes the whole angle.
Hang a 20-pound weight from it, swing it on the pendulum, and then
Let it twist and
Correct.
turn and move, and then see
We're
what
trying to
it's
make a drop pig.
yeah, that'd be cool.
We're trying to figure out a way to.
Guillotine?
Yeah, right. So have Thomas hold the string, and then when he hears a bogo, I'll let it go and then shoot it and see what happens. But what you're gonna, if we can slow it down, you're gonna see the tail of those arrows doing wonky stuff. And so,
This alarm didn't go off this time.
No.
Maybe it's an actual threat.
This could be a fire.
It's done.
ISIS is coming.
tornado.
Let's wind it down.
ISIS is not coming up here. There's nobody to kill. And everybody's armed at the teeth out there.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
is
would be a bad choice.
Yeah, right. And everybody's got tractors.
Yeah.
That's America.
Where'd everyone go? It would be bad.
I think the one thing too for people that are watching or listening, like for you, I know it's a fact, and Garrett, I'm sure, and even like with THP last year when I was with them, they see and shoot a lot more deer or pigs or whatever than a normal person hunts every year. You know, a lot of people just get their $1 buck, $2 every year with a bow, and that's it. But like, you shoot a ton of pigs every year, or
Yep.
see a lot of them every
Yep.
year. I mean, all the THP guys get 2, 3 every year. You know, Shane, you get a lot, I'm sure, and he gets a lot.
I see a lot.
Yeah.
You see a lot.
Say,
But I mean,
have a
that's-
large network, and Shane does too, and it's not necessarily the ones you kill, but the
Right.
people that you can trust the information from, or you see it firsthand with Callie, you know,
Right.
and that
that's-
helps up your
Yeah, and that's
exposure.
precisely the people we're trying to reach. Is they're like, I've used this broadhead and I've killed plenty of deer with it. And I have no desire to change. Well, if it's working, yeah, but you can't look at your small or your small sample size.
Right.
I mean, we're looking at the big picture,
Right.
hundreds and thousands of hunters,
Right.
in a lot of different scenarios.
And
Your
the thing
situation
is-
may be, you know, let's say you're hunting at a feeder and you're getting that perfect shot every time.
Mhm.
And, you don't know what their situation is, but you can't look at that your personal experience, small sample size.
Right. And we've got video to
Yeah.
watch what it does. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people that don't have video that can tell, okay, it hit right where I was aiming, but the fletching, like the knock of the arrow went like this.
Well, that's what Ward
you know?
talked about. He said, I've got 150 deer kills on video.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, in the old days, 2 years ago, I would just look at it and go, it kind of went wrong. I look at them and go, why?
Right.
And he started asking why.
Right.
He started looking back and saying, can we fix this? because they were having a little bit. I mean, I talked to Zach. He said he had 2 of them where I think it was mechanicals. I don't know what hit, and like went out the rear end of the deer, and they just started asking questions. It makes it a long night when that happens.
It sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks.
And it's not good for, ethical.
Yeah, we
No,
were
it's
talking
not.
about that earlier.
It's
It's not good for anything.
We need to worry about the sport,
Right.
is being able to do this
Right.
more than fighting over what you're putting on the front of your stick. Let's
Right.
make sure it works and keep the sport alive. That's the big thing. That's what we're trying to accomplish at the Aspie Foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, it says our phrase is the world's leading, leader in arrow performance and arrow lethality. That's it. We're trying to figure out what works the best all the time. So hopefully that'll take off and we can get to pushing.
I think it's got a big start right now. It's clearly seeing it.
Yeah.
It's got some momentum.
Yeah.
Snowball
Literally.
starting to
It's
roll.
happening.
So can I ask you again, put you on the spot with the question I asked you last night? If you could only shoot one I know you've shot a trillion of them, but if you could only pick one, which would you shoot?
I would probably be the iron wheels out front right now. It's just the price point's pretty high. If I was going to do it by price point, I would be shooting the Magnus for the lower price point, the Stinger or the Hornet. The iron wheels just at the $100 range. That head is just.
What was the other one you said? The tough
And
head?
then you can't break a tough head. I've tried. I
So
tell
there's 3
Wojo all the
options,
time,
though.
you need to make some replaceable blades on those things or something. Make it break. Might get some repeat customers. But that head is bomb-proof. So the tough head's a 3-to-1 long single bevel, more traditional. Iron wheel makes,
And they're heavy though, right? They're all
those are adult extreme FOC deals. They're 225's the lightest thing he makes. He makes a 190 meat head, but those are great heads. And then the more I play with the iron wheel, I shot the iron wheel the other day. I'm going to do a video on this. So one of the things you have to worry about is if things don't go right, is the broadhead sharp after it does what it does. So I showed the guys that one of my subs sent a picture of a scapula, and there's just an X through it. I mean, right through this deer's scapula and passed through the deer. Is the broadhead you're shooting, whatever the brand is, sharp after it does that? You've told me you've abused a couple iron wheels and they did okay.
Yep.
I shot one through a piece of 5/8 inch particle board. I wanted something relatively elastic. I'm trying to catch the arrow. I don't need it going through and then skipping down the road because then my data's no good.
Yep.
We don't know if it hit rocks and stuff. So it went through 5/8 inch particle board through my block and was sticking out about that far, and it's still shaved. That changes a lot of your days, from picking on the ground, all your friends out running around, have to call you and drive around and bring the dog, to, oh well, it went 57 yards. No blood trail, but it's right there. So anything like that that's real sharp, those real good upgraded heads. If you're going to do something, if you're going to spend money, buy decent arrows and buy upgraded broadheads. That's what I'm going.
Components.
Yeah, and not a $1,400 bow. Buy a $700 bow and spend some money on real arrows and broadheads. You know.
I mean, that's what's doing all the work. I mean, that's what's taking the deer down. You know.
Yeah,
So,
people buy a $1,500 bow and put a $10 broadhead on it.
yeah.
Well, it's,
One that costs
yeah.
99 cents to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The more I press on the testing stuff I'm doing on the pigs, it was because I was failing. So I killed a good deer a long time ago. Haven't shot a deer in 15 years. But I was about 40% on pigs. I've told this a lot. On the big, finally, about 3 times a year, I get a pig over 200 pounds. It's a big adult. That's a big pig on our place. And I'd get that much penetration 50% of the time we find them. No blood, they're tough, all this stuff. And the more I've upgraded my systems, now it's funk,
Less excuses,
kunk.
more recovery.
You hear, poof. Oh, we'll just go over there, right? And I really do think it's blade erosion. I really do think when I was getting that much penetration that the broadhead was dull. Butter knife dull from all the mud and the hair and the shield and the rib cage. The next time you have ribs in front of you, put your finger on the meat. It's only about as wide as your thumb, and that's a 1,000-pound pig. I'm not shooting 1,000-pound pigs. So you're gonna hit bone. So they're killer test material. they're kind of everything wrong
Yeah.
for an arrow.
Yeah.
They're horrible, right? They're covered in mud. They got sand all over them. They've got a shield. They got the rib cage very close together, and it's just been a really fun thing to do. Plus, they're fun to shoot, and there's no laws.
They are fun to shoot.
They are a blast to shoot. That's my recommendation.
We got to fix that 15-year dry spell with the deer.
I haven't hunted them,
Yeah.
so I raised my boys at the ranch, and I've been in on God knows how many deer that have been shot with rifles and bows and all that stuff. I just haven't personally hunted them. I got the cameras, and I kind of know where the deer are, and I'll take my nephew who's 7. I've got this 223, and every time you shoot a deer, it's your first animal, I write your name on it. Well, there's 39 names on the gun. It's really cool. The whole
cool.
the stock's just covered in dates.
That's super cool.
He's 15 years old. And of course, I write my crow count on there. I got things. Me and the crows have an understanding. VMAX. Whoom! Oh, that is awesome.
All I see is feathers.
Oh, that's all I shoot with them. But it's good stuff.
It's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the week, honestly. We're still here for a few more days. I know, unfortunately, Garrett's got to go. It sucks. I wish you weren't having to leave.
You have COVID. We already told you this. You got to quarantine here.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks.
Hey,
We'll be gone by then. But,
Where do we stand on our pool?
we're at 2 deer now, so I have to look.
You said 5, right?
I guessed 5.
I think I said 4.
I said 6, I think.
I think I said
Wow.
3.
We got ranch fair in town now.
Well, that don't mean nothing. Are there any pigs here? We'll be fine.
I guessed 5. Greg guessed 4. Carl 6. You're going to be out of it, basically. Dylan 4.
Okay, so me and Dylan are going to chop
Garrett
the pot.
said 7. He had very
Wow.
high.
I wanted to pick a number that hadn't already been picked. That was the last person to put my name in.
Nah, you're not.
Aggressive.
No statistical analysis
The
there.
engineer was playing the stats there.
Sam said 5. Jared said 3. He's 1 away. So I guess the closest one would win by default. So if no one other deer shot, then we'll
Oh, there's going to be other. I mean, we've got
Adam
1,
said
2,
6.
3. We got 4 hunters
Adam
left.
said 6, and then we got to get yours.
Oh,
and
is
your
he?
son's
This
guess.
is Adam
Oh,
part of that? 'Cause
yes,
he's
he
got a
shot
bloody arrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, he hasn't recovered.
True.
We
Hasn't
don't
recovered.
know. He sent me a picture of a bloody arrow
Yeah.
this morning. So
So we need to go help
yeah,
him.
we got another buddy in camp here.
We had to go help
Oh,
him
we shot
find
a
that
deer this morning?
Yeah, let me see if he ever replied. We've been doing this podcast, and I asked him if he needed help getting it out, and he's probably going, "Why is he not replying?"
You guys are a bunch of dicks.
We're trying to be awesome, that's why.
Oh, he did recover it. He said, "I think I can get it out. It looks like a 400-yard drag."
So there's 3.
3. So Jared,
So I'm the leader.
Cheers. Well, that's going to change tonight when I whack a booner.
Well, it should have changed last night. I mean,
Yeah,
you
you-
could have had a buck down.
You could.
oh, and I passed up deer. That should have been.
Jared's going to intentionally not shoot a deer now so he can win the $10 pot.
Hey, well, old Greg's going to get one down. You better believe that.
I'm gonna shoot one. I'm gonna go right back to where. So I hunted where Garrett and where he killed his last year. I think I was just Garrett's like, yeah, you set up here. I'm gonna go farther back where I intended to hunt. I figured I'd see some deer, but maybe one. But it was at 7 o'clock. It was there goes a deer. And like 15 minutes later, there's another deer, and another deer. They were all small, but there was a lot of deer activity, and I like seeing deer. I don't. I can go months and see one big buck, or hunt every day and see 3 deer every sit. I'm going to see every 3 deer every
Sure.
sit.
Well, I've been
Nice.
shoulder surfing Garrett's Onyx, so I know where all his pins are.
Oh, yeah.
I got all his pins.
Well, I'm going there today. I'll kill something for sure. I passed up those deer last night, but tonight I'm shooting. I'm letting my arrow fly. Yeah.
Well, that's what Jared and I were saying on our first hunt. We saw 9 or 10 deer, no bucks, just does and fawns. But it was such a fun hunt because they
Yeah,
were
it was
all
super
in
fun.
us around and close, and it was just awesome.
They had
It
no
was a
idea
lot
we
of
were
fun.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the way it was last night, too.
And sitting that low,
Yeah.
it's like a totally different hunt. I can see why guys get addicted to shooting them on the ground when they come in really close because it's just different. I've never done that, so it was fun. It was definitely fun.
My leg got to shaking last night. I don't know if your legs do that.
Oh yeah.
Those 2 of those deer ended up at my base of my tree, and I was only my foot was like 6 feet above their head or 8 feet, maybe. And it just looked like they were about to do this,
Yeah.
and my legs started.
Yeah,
and
you
I'm
can't
like,
help it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did
After
you-
that buck,
Did you
left
film me?
Huh?
Did you film me?
I think
about doing-
so.
Man,
Both of us looked like we were sitting in one of those big massage chairs at the mall. We're just both going.
I just had
Yeah.
total.
I'm not even
adrenaline.
shooting anything. I'm shooting a
right.
camera.
I
and
mean,
I'm
I
like,
was just shaking it like this.
Me and Dylan were the same way. I mean, after I
man.
shot that
Yeah.
buck, Dylan was like,
The footage might not even be worth a crap because I turned around to do the old post-shot interview, and I can just see my hands, and I'm just like, that's
I think
gonna
he was
be
shaking
a
worse than
nightmare
that.
to
he
edit.
did the same thing on mine too. I
Yeah.
look
Oh,
up,
man.
I'm mad, and I look up, and Dylan's like,
That's why we do this.
It's the best.
That's why you do it.
Oh, it's the
The
best.
leaf in a tornado up there.
"Yep."
Oh, it's the best. We gotta replicate that tonight because that was so cool seeing those 2 bucks come in, man.
I think we have good chances. I
think so,
the
too.
way these trips go, like sometimes you get lucky and get them down, first night or two. But I mean, it helped with your scouting. But then it takes a couple days to figure out, see some sign, figure out where they're at, and then from there you just start dialing in
down.
pretty
Man, I
hard.
think we got a really good chance at knocking 3 more down.
Oh yeah, I think
I
so.
really do.
Yeah.
I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Garrett said
5,
4 more days.
5 more hunters. I mean, I think we got a good chance at knocking down
Oh, yeah.
3 more. And don't put it past me to shoot a doe just to win.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm a competitive mofo. I'll do it just to win.
I will ignore the ears tonight. All right.
If she comes in and she's got a long tail, you need to shoot her.
Long
We're
tail,
looking
baby.
for long tails, yeah.
Yep.
Well, we've been chatting for an hour now, so we probably need to wrap it up. Troy's got to go get some rubber on the road, try to find some spots. We had to go scout that new spot. So we got stuff to do. What time is it? What time is it?
10 o'clock,
10.
10:30,
Okay, we got plenty of time.
You got to teach me how to use the saddle.
Yeah,
Easy.
we gotta. Yeah.
So we'll do that.
We should video that because that will be
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah,
I'm
we should
sure.
do that.
We'll video that.
I'll be like a stripper up there.
Well, and you got Thomas here
Not
too.
that I know about that.
Thomas is here, so we got to you and Thomas. We got to get you guys all squared away.
Yep.
So that'll be fun. We can knock that out. That won't take long. And then we'll just get ready and go hunt tonight. Let's run around the table, the camp. And let me apologize for the wind noise and all that
It's
stuff.
because let me stop.
This is real hunting.
We're outside.
Yeah.
I do this all the time. Sorry about the bad glare and my freaking dark circles under my eyes, no makeup. We're outside.
Yeah. We're obviously not professionals. We're just winging it here. I mean,
That's more fun.
yeah, it is way
We
more
could
fun.
be in some room somewhere. That's boring.
It's cold outside.
It is cold.
It
I'm-
is cold out
I'm
here,
shivering
bros.
a little bit. Yeah, let's run around the table and final thoughts, whatever you got to say. Start Dylan, and we'll just come this way.
On anything or what?
Anything.
You're just putting me
Anything.
on the spot like that.
Sorry, you're the youngest guy here.
I'm
You get
Dylan. I've
to, you get to
enjoyed
get
our
put on the
week
spot.
in camp
Yeah.
with Greg.
It's been an interesting week.
I'm
for
not going to
sure.
say what I thought about that. 'Cause it's 2020, and you can't make those jokes anymore.
You
so.
got COVID, so you got to stay.
Yeah, I wish you would stay,
Yeah.
Garrett.
Well, if I stayed, then there'd be no Missouri hunt.
Okay, well, don't do that. Don't do that. You can't skip the rut in Missouri. That's just.
Is that the one I'm coming on? Going to?
Oh, Shane.
The tag is not. You're paying.
Make up
You're
your
paying
mind.
$195 now. $195. Not
Yeah,
too-
it went down.
Goodbye.
Yeah,
Half
right.
your
Went
tag.
down. 180. 180. 180.
You need to pay me now. The invite has been
Transfer, Your
offered.
turn.
Well, we know we got to get Dylan.
All right, yeah.
Dylan.
Final thoughts. Ginger Ninja is going to redeem himself soon.
Okay.
I want you to
Shane's-
kill that deer.
Yeah.
I like
be
it.
cool.
That would be.
That would be an
Shane's-
awesome story
That
if
would
he
be.
comes back
I was
in.
telling him last night, because we were like looking at we didn't know exactly what the shot. The viewfinder's this big,
Yeah.
so we didn't know exactly where we hit him, but we knew it probably wasn't lethal. We looked at, there was a little bit of blood there, and I just looked at him like, man, wouldn't it be awesome if we came back tomorrow and just tracked his blood trail right into
Back
his
to
bed
his
and his
bed.
cattails?
Oh, good idea. Yeah, because you jerks
That would be
walk up to
fun.
me in the truck and
Oh.
show me a leaf with blood on it, and I'm like, yeah, I got one. It's like,
Sorry.
no.
No.
Yeah, but that was just a nick on the leg, so that
Yeah,
deer's
it wasn't.
been somewhere
Yeah,
else.
he was good.
Yeah.
But anyway, he'll shoot one. I'm guessing he's shooting one tonight.
A doe.
A doe.
I'm
I don't.
shooting
Whatever.
Shane doesn't
Whatever.
There's a little 6-pointer. I'm targeting him too.
Get the stick bow back.
I'm gonna guess
I may take my recurve. though.
you're gonna hold your chips, and in a couple days you're gonna be back in that spot and killing one of those bucks.
I'm going to let that spot sit for 2 days.
Yep.
Because that one buck 100% winded us, and a few does 100% winded us.
Yeah, we'll give that spot a rest.
Give it a rest, and then go back if hell, we got 5 other great spots, so we can go hunt those and
Yeah.
let that one rest.
Yep. I'm seeing there's gonna be a lot of deer hitting the ground here.
I think so too. I'm with you.
Have y'all tried grunting at all to these deer? Or you're just watching it?
I've been trying to let you
Well,
in.
yes, we had. I
Let me
think that
call.
second buck came to the rattling horns because he snuck
may
in there.
have.
He
You
snuck-
rattled?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just a little light.
This early?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
They're
all
most
loose.
of, they're losing
Well, you know
velvet.
what
They're
triggers their
getting-
velvet is their testosterone raises, and that triggers the velvet.
Well,
so they're
we've seen an uptick in scrapes. I mean,
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
done-
absolutely
Nothing crazy, just some
No,
nice
just-
little gentle
Okay.
sparring.
Just I got
But-
10 seconds,
I
just
thought you
ta-da-da-da, just tickling them. Just tickling them. Just a little tickle.
little snort wheeze mixed in.
No. No.
Wah, wah. Try that. Maybe that'll
Give
get
him the grunt, though. Give him the. Yeah, we did some of that. Yep, some of that.
Yep.
Anyway, I guess
Okay.
deer are gonna die here soon.
Deer are gonna die.
That's my
We're
final
gonna
thoughts.
hit 5 total. I think that's what. 5. Yeah, that's my guess.
Is that what you picked? Was that your number?
I think so. I had to look back.
Because Shane, he'll throw it. I know he'll throw the vote just to win.
I have the notes. I can actually edit. Look, it's 3 right here. You see?
Yeah, right.
What do you think, Garrett? I'm just looking at my notes to make sure we covered everything I wanted to cover. Go ahead.
I
Garrett.
mean, I've obviously up here for a little bit shorter time than everybody else, but I mean, I've checked just about every box I wanted to check on this trip. Sam got her first deer. That was a big goal of mine. Was to have her get that experience and opportunity to be with her for the whole experience. That was awesome. The whole deer camp atmosphere is just super fun.
Yeah, that's the best
When
one.
Sam's video gonna go live?
I'm not sure yet. I'll
Timeline.
probably be about in that time frame. Although we have some new gear that is in the video that we'll have to work through that.
Anytime you come to camp with Tethrd, you're probably going to see some
Well, I
cool new stuff.
guess it'll be that video will be shown about the same time.
Probably.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe like the week-ish time frame is probably when we'll have all the editing. We'll edit it in the day by day type of thing like we've done in the past. For me, I was probably not going to shoot, like a younger buck. I was holding off for maybe something a little bit bigger because we got a lot of deer hunts playing this year, and I wasn't really worried if I was going to tag soup. So even though we'd like go into areas and see lots of bucks, if it wasn't something a little bit bigger, I was like, let's go hunt somewhere else tomorrow and try and find something different. So I got everything out of this trip that I wanted to get out of it. No regrets, no issues at all. Just had a blast all the way around.
Yeah, that's awesome. And again, I told you earlier, but thanks for the invite. I mean, I got to come up here because you and Shane offered, so it's really.
I didn't invite. Every day it was 2 more tether guys showing up.
Yeah, that one polo was funny, because I was like, because I was the first one up here. I was like, well, hey, I'm gonna be the first one up here. I want to make sure I don't go in on your spots, And of course, we got this group polo going on, and boy, I see Shane there. He's watching, and I'm just waiting for the stop. Shane jumps on. I want you to know, I have scouted here. He was at work. He stops working and goes over to a computer and
No, this one.
Delete your
Oh
own
yeah, I show him I bring it up on the screen and I show the polo. I was like, this is my spot. This is my spot. These are mine.
Yeah, he didn't say this is a spot I've been looking at. This is my spot. This is my spot. And then he was looking out for his buddy. He goes, this is Garrett's. This is Garrett's. So
Maybe he doesn't know that it's public land and we can hunt wherever we want.
but then hey, get in camp, you fix his broken stuff, and he invites you to go with him.
Yeah, I'm not like the person I portrayed in the polo.
No, I would agree. Troy, anything to say?
Once I figure out what's going on, thanks for inviting me up here. I had to change an alternator in a hotel
it's been a
parking
4-day drive
lot.
for
That's
you.
been great.
Yeah.
21 hours. I am definitely not in Texas anymore. But thanks for having me in camp. It's always fun. It's always fun.
Carl?
You're next.
I gotta pitch everything,
Oh.
so I'll do
I'm
it last.
just-
Oh!
I'm
Maybe
now
you should
I'm
have sat
trying
on
to.
this end.
Well, I didn't.
I mean, like we said earlier, the monkey's off my back. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is.
So
I'm pumped for you, man.
it's
Hey, he did his job, guys. He's
yeah,
off
it's
the-
yeah. But now I'm just trying to become a
Videographer.
yeah, and that's that's a whole new
Yeah.
challenge. My gosh, I had no idea that it was that
Boy, you
hard.
just push the button and hold it up.
Yeah,
These dumb kids, they don't know what they're doing.
yeah. I mean,
You know, I'm Carl's biggest fan. I nicknamed him the Michael Jordan of sewing. He's the freaking man. When it comes to DIY stuff, he's the GOAT. If he's not the GOAT, he's the GOAT. There's like 2 goats sitting underneath this canopy. Carl is good at everything he does except videography.
I just started.
He sucks at it.
Yes.
One day it's me.
I had one day.
Yesterday.
He's the Stevie Wonder of videography.
Hey,
We had two giant bucks inside 20 yards, and we don't have any footage of it.
well, the one, neither one of us could see.
True.
But the other one, I mean, I looked like I was having seizures up there trying to find that auto or the manual focus and everything. It was just I was a soup sandwich with that camera. I was. But hey, we got like a half of a
We got a
frame.
glimpse of him.
We got a glimpse
Yeah.
of him on the big screen.
Dylan did some Adobe Premiere
Yeah,
wizardry over there to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw him, so I mean,
But I learned just in just that one set. I learned so much last night. I'm gonna do you proud, bro.
Sweet.
Maybe.
he's gonna get 2 seconds of the video.
Oh, double.
Yeah. I have been managing to hit the record button every time. So
That's good.
Gosh, I've
Hey,
done that.
knock on wood right now.
I've done
Knock
that.
on
Yeah,
wood right
yeah.
now.
Knock on wood.
'Cause that's a common one.
you're up.
My turn. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts. I've really enjoyed as much crap as I've given all you tethered guys. I've really enjoyed camp this year. I haven't shot anything, but it's made it much more enjoyable. I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do, I'm sleeping in my truck. First thing I do is I look up out the window to see if Carl is making bacon.
Yeah, you got free. That is one downside about shooting your buck the first night because you kind of feel obligated to like
Cook time.
feed,
Well, you're
make
good
everybody
at it,
coffee.
man. This
So-
camp has been awesome because
Yeah.
of you. I mean, you've done it.
Yeah, and it's been a fun week for me so far. I've got a few more days. I started off with my recurve. Carl has tried to talk me out of using my compound. But I don't know what it is. I don't feel it's natural to hunt with a recurve from a tree to me, and that's just a personal thing. It just doesn't seem like they go hand in hand. Of course, shooting recurve probably doesn't involve hunting wearing modern camo and all that good stuff. But
I can whip you up a
look past
loincloth
that.
real quick.
I can look past that. But
That would be cold out here.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just been a fun week. I guess that's about it. I'm
Sweet.
looking forward to the next few days, and whether I get a deer or not, I don't care. at this
It'll be
point.
fun.
Yeah, so I mean, this is my first, whitetail trip of the year, and I was really looking forward to it. And like everybody said, camp has been awesome, having this many guys and telling all the stories, and seeing Sam get her first deer was really, really cool.
Oh, that
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm really happy.
Really
Highlight of the week.
Yep, it was
For
good.
sure.
Sorry, Carl.
Yeah,
No, that was
That's good.
awesome. She textbooked that deer.
yeah. Seeing Sam get her deer and Carl, you getting your deer, that makes the trip right there. I mean, that's awesome. So whatever happens the rest of the week, it's going to be just fine. I mean, I had my opportunity last night, so if I don't get another one, it is what it is. But yeah, either way, it's been a fun trip. It's been a little more challenging, honestly, than I thought it was going to be. There's been a little more pressure to work around, and I don't hunt a whole lot of ag land, stuff like this, so it's still a bit of a learning curve for me. But it's I think we're getting stuff figured out now. I think the next couple of days are going to be pretty good, so I'm pretty excited to see how it's going to pan out.
Yep, I agree. And I just got to say thanks again to Garrett and Shane for inviting us. I mean, 2 years ago, you were a detective, I was in the Army, you were working your contract job, and now, because of, the Tethrd dudes that have helped make this thing a reality, we get to hunt North Dakota. I mean, really, with Garrett and Troy and Shane and Dylan and all these cool people. I just feel like the luckiest guy in the world to be able to do this. So super appreciative to everyone that supported Tethrd and all of us. It's really awesome. Dylan starting a YouTube channel this fall. So everyone listening and watching, make sure you follow Dylan's channel. Whenever that goes live, we'll post it on all the Tethrd stuff, so you guys can go and give him a follow. Need to do that. Garrett, the DIY Sportsman, if you don't follow him on Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff, make sure you follow him. He's a genius. I learned so much from this guy. Love watching all his content. Troy, better known as the Ranch Fairy. If you're not learning from him, you're doing something wrong, because this guy is like a wealth of information. I've learned a ton. I think we've all pretty much adjusted our setups in some way, even if it was minor, because of you. So thank you. You guys got to be following him. And so did I. I mean, I'm shooting a much heavier arrow this year. Can't wait to shoot a critter with it. And then Shane's YouTube channel, his Nebraska hunt, is going to be live.
It'll be live if you're listening to this.
Yeah, it's live. Go watch that. And subscribe to Shane, and then you're going to see all this stuff. I mean, Garrett's going to put out content from here. We're putting out content from here, and Shane's putting out content from here. So make sure you guys subscribe and follow all of their stuff, and Instagram and YouTube and all that fun stuff. I think that's it.
Thanks for camp this week. It was really fun. I mean, it's going to be here either way, but it's just Garrett.
Just Garrett.
He's so bored.
And he doesn't talk a lot. So I don't know what you're going to do.
Oh, Garrett's got jokes.
Yeah.
I'll catch him in the
Garrett's
right.
got jokes.
Garrett's got
And when
jokes.
the straight-laced engineer who is super analytical cracks a joke, it's way funnier.
I know.
He's been working on it for weeks.
Yeah, his tetherball comment the other night was awesome. It's like 100 mile an hour wind here. I feel like a tetherball. It comes from
So
Garrett. It was
he's
like,
done the analysis on multiple punchlines. He's run the numbers. This is the punchline,
This
and he
is
sends
V1.
it, and it just nails every time. Well, anyway, let's knock all this BS technology crap off, and let's go shoot a deer.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
sounds good.
Thanks for watching.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I'm going to start my truck up.
I started that podcast warm.
Yeah.
As gradually got colder.
Yeah, the Crocs done gave it up.
Yep.
Just throw that.
You don't even have socks.
Okay.